everybody, it's Jean-Marie. Thank you for joining me this morning. I thought I would put together a project with the November Bargain Bead Box. I think it was called Blooming Branches, and I thought I would use this pretty little wreath piece that we received. I'm going to use 2 of these toggles as earrings. I'm going to use this little pendant tree piece. I pulled these little pine cones from my own stash. They're just like the ones we got last month in copper, but they're silver. I did pull a strand of 4mm bicone beads from my stash, and they're just in a nice simple green color. We'll be using these little faceted beads that we received, our little red matte beads. What else? Beading wire, crimp beads, crimping supplies, little crimp beads, clamshells, beading wire. I do have out some artistic wire in 24 gauge to attempt to make, let's put it that way, a bracelet using the bar piece of our toggles. Thought I'd use that up. Please excuse me if I sound terrible. I've just gotten over a cold. And so that is pretty much everything to get started with. So I want to create a bigger ring on, well, I'm not sure if I want to hook it directly or if I'm going to use a jump ring. Let me see. I think a jump ring would probably be the smarter choice here. So let's get out a big-ish jump ring, something that will, I think those are too big. Nope. We go for something more along the 8mm range. Those are more 10 and 4s. That might be all I have in here. Looks like it. So let's go with that 10 for now. If it looks too big, I'll dig out some. I will dig out some 8mm at that point. Out of the way. Okay, so my thought is to use these as earrings along with the pine cones. So we'll set those up here for the moment. I want this and this. Do I want to hang directly, or do I want to... This is a dilemma I'm having. I don't know if I want to go right directly to it or if I want to add something in between here, like one of these beads. I almost kind of think I want to do that. I'm going to try it, see what it looks like. I'm just going to put this one on for now and open it up and attach it to the little pine tree piece. My dilemma is, how do I attach to that? And that's where I thought the jump ring would come in. And it still may. So let's go ahead and close that very tight. We're going to bend this one the opposite direction. Maybe, if I can get it to stop moving around on me. Okay, so the loop on this one is going this way. I'm going to bend this the opposite way and try to create my loop without having to do the 2-plier method to straighten it back out afterwards, and I can tell already I'm off, so I will have to. Alright, trim that down. Roll my loop. Okay, and this is what I was talking about. Whoops, sorry. This is what I talked about trying to avoid having to do, but I will have to get in here and offset them. Like that. So that when I attach it to the jump ring, it will lay correctly. Alright, maybe this jump ring isn't too big after all. It might be just what I need. So we're going to attach that piece. And I'm just going to go right around the wreath. Close it back up. And see what we've got. Yeah, actually I think that size jump ring was good. That looks pretty good. I like it like that. Okay, so this will be the hanging part of it. The rest of it will be strung. And my plan for stringing it is just simply making it look like little holly berry clusters. And putting some of these pretty little faceted matte beads in between. Keeping it very, very simple. Simple and elegant. I think that's what Christmas really calls for. Simple and elegant. Let's get some of these beads off. So essentially the necklace is going to be just like this, all the way around to the clasp on the back, with this hanging at some point in the center here. Alright, so I'm going to try to figure out how much length I'm going to need for the stringing portion of it. I think I just want to lay it out. I should let's try using a ruler. Maybe that will help. I want to start with 4 of these. And then do the cluster or the focal or whatever you want to call it. And another one. And probably should have had my bead board. It would have made it easier to figure out how many I need, but this will work. Or it will come real, real close anyway. So it's very, very simple. It's not a huge, project by any means. It's a kind of a quick little project. The bracelet may be a bit of an issue. I don't know yet. I honestly don't even know if it will work. So we'll figure it out together. And if it does, I think it'd be very, very pretty. And I don't want this to be very long. Not quite choker, but just a little longer than choker. I know 12 inches is too short, but that'll give me a starting point. I'm thinking more along the lines of 14 to 16, maybe? there's approximately 12 inches right there. I'm going to add 4 more of these. And I know it's going out of the frame now, but it's just a little beyond the end of the ruler here. I'm going to add one more set of these, and again another 4 of these, and that brings me to, I think that looks close to 14 inches. Not strong. I mean, there are gaps between these beads, so I may end up needing to add just a bit more at the end of it. But that is essentially my thoughts. Alright, so I'm going to get out a piece of beading wire. If I remember where I put it. And I'm going to pull off, I'm going to go right around 18 inches of it. So I have plenty to work with. Beading wire is pretty inexpensive. I'm not real worried about wasting a little bit of it. So I'm just going to tie a knot in the end here, because I probably will need to adjust at some point one end or the other. So if I can just untie the knot or cut it off, it makes it so much easier than pulling it all off and restringing it. And at this point I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 11, so that is the perfect spot for me to add the pendant pieces right in that 11th section. So that would be right here. And I'm going to need another jump ring for that. Alright, so let's add this in, see what we come up with. And again, it's just a simple beading project. 4 of these beautiful little faceted matte opalescent beads. A bicone in green, one of our matte reds, another bicone in green. If you're anything like me, you've got a stash of bicone beads, because you can usually get them through the sister store a lot of times for 99 cents or like $1.09, and then you take your 30% off. You're getting them for, I mean, dirt cheap. So I stock up on these. I probably have 2 little plastic drawers, you know, those little plastic stackable bins of just 4mm bicones, because you can really stack up on them when they're that price. And they're super handy. They add that little pop of color you need from time to time, or they're a nice little gap filler. They're just super handy to have on hand. Alright, so we are getting close. We got 3 sets of green and red on now. Oops, just lost that one. Where'd it go? Oh, it's over there. That's okay. Grabbed another one. So we are going to have to do a little bit of wire wrapping to make connectors on the toggle bar piece. But where it's whoops, hitting things, where it's grooved, it's perfect for it, because it will hold your wires. They aren't going to slip off when you wire wrap on it. So it's a nice opportunity to use that and make something really pretty with it. I like using my toggles for other things. The bars usually end up being left behind though, so it's nice to be able to use the bar too. Okay, so after this one I'm just going to do 2 white. Alright, slide that down. Let's get this other jump ring on. it up tight because we are going to put it on beading wire. I want to make sure it's good and tight. Alright, it's slipping off. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, that's looking really nice. I think I wish I had oval jump rings. Oval jump rings would have looked much, much prettier on here. Unfortunately, I do not have any oval jump rings, but that would have looped around that wreath part very nicely and wouldn't have poked out quite like it does. But that's okay. It looks nice just the same. And I can always get some later on and change it. I don't think I've ever bought oval jump rings. I've seen them used in other videos, but I don't know why I haven't invested in any yet. Something to consider. It's my youngest granddaughter, Paisley, and my daughter-in-law were here yesterday for a while. They came and had lunch and hung out for a little bit. My goodness, she's gotten so big. So smart. And she's definitely got the creative gene. They're so fun. I love having them around. I gotta go get Lily today. This afternoon I gotta go get her for Thanksgiving. She's spending Thanksgiving with us this year. Us being me and her dad. I think we have Christmas this year as well, so that's kind of nice. A busy holiday season this year. Hear my cats in the background. I don't know what they're doing. I probably don't even want to know what they're doing. Alright, let's get the last of these beads up here. Take the last 4 on. Alright, let me check and see how long this came out. I'll be right back with you. Alright, so I think I need to add a total of 4 more sets, so 2 more on each side. So I've already got this end starting, so I'll just finish on this end. I will put 2 more sets of berries in the white section. Alright. That was 4, correct? There is 2 sets on this end. I'm going to just tie a knot here so I don't lose them. Go down to the other end, take out that knot, And do the same thing. This is one set of berries. Let's get some more of these little white beads in. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. Another little cluster. A little bit of a kink in my wire from there. I had a knot tied in it, but that's okay. I can work around it. I could just cut it off, but wouldn't be the fun in that. I wouldn't have anything to struggle with. Alright, let me check this now. I think that's looking much better. Yeah, I think that's perfect. Okay, so what I ended up with was a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it'd be 14 total because it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on that side, correct. Alright, so it's 14 sections of the green and red. And this one does not seem to want to set in between my beads. Let's get you in there. This ring might be a little too big for it to set in place. Again, an oval one would have been better. If you have oval ones, I would suggest trying that around this ring, no matter what you make with it. If you're going to add a jump ring around it, if you have the oval ones, I would try that over a round one. Alright. And this is what we've got now. I think it looks really pretty. Alright. Very simple, very elegant, very pretty. Okay, so I am just going to trim some of this end off here and get some of that mess out of the way because I do need to put my clamshell and my crimp on now. So I'm just going to drop on my clamshell. Whoop. I'm going to try to drop on my clamshell. Oh my goodness. Things should not be this difficult. Alright, so I'm just going to squish one of these on. Put on a second one just for extra durability. Trim that right off. Bring my clamshell up over that and close it. And I'm going to take my necklace piece. I'm going to let gravity do its thing and just kind of let it all drop down. I know you can't see it, but I have to take it off from behind the camera to do that part. I'm not going to push everything down. I'm just going to let gravity take it down so that it still has some slack in it. Cut off some of this extra beading wire. Again, with my clamshell, drop that down over. And pick up a crimp. Let it all go right down to where it wants to be. Get in there with my pliers and squeeze that shut. And pick up a second one. The second one just gives you a little extra strength in case one should fail. You know, if it cracked when you're squeezing it or anything like that, you've got that extra one there for A little extra durability. Honestly, I don't know unless I've gotten it. Can't seem to get in there to get to it. There we go. There we go. That's better. Okay. Trim that one off. I knew it. I didn't really think I had it. Alright, so this is what happened. As soon as I trimmed it, it all came off. So now I have a very short piece to work with, but I will get it in there. I think the best thing I could do at this point is open this clamshell. Right up, flat. Put on a crimp bead. So what happened there was my crimp bead turned on me when I was trying to pinch it, and it didn't actually pinch. Now that one looks good. Can tell already that one's secure. Opening up that clamshell so you can get in there is kind of key, really. Problem is that you run a risk of weakening that bend, and it could break on you when you close it. So it's like a balancing act between it. But anyway, that worked. So it is attached. I really wish I could get this to stop moving. I want it to set right in there. I really am going to have to get some woven jump rings, I think. So that will set in place. Stay there. Okay. And now all I need is to add some hardware. And I think I want to put a little bit of an extender chain on it. And do I want to use the chain we received in the box? Yeah, that's not a bad one. I'm just going to cut off a little piece of it, about 1.5 inches long. Somewhere in that area. It doesn't need to be real long. I'm going to grab one of my small jump rings. Put that through here. And then add one of the bigger ones just so I have something for the chain, or just the lobster clasp itself to clasp to in case I don't want to use the extender chain. Close that up. Open up the bigger one here again. Add on my extender chain. The cats are crawling through my bags of yarn. I think I need to trim this one just a little bit. That helped. Oh yeah, much better. Close straight up. Okay, there is that part all attached. I got a little extender chain. I got a place to hook my lobster if I don't want to use an extender chain. I've got another jump ring, and I just need to get out my lobster clasps. What did I do with them? What did I do with them? I see one really big jumbo one. I don't think I want that. Let's see this one. I have no idea what I did with them. That is the problem in this house, is that there's just not enough room and there is too much stuff. Alright, let me see what you have in my drawer here. Unfortunately, I am not going to find a lobster clasp at the moment, so I might have to wait on that. So we'll set that aside for the time being. Gosh, it is really pretty. That still doesn't want to hang in the right that's going to drive me nuts. I'm going to have to do something different here, I think. I think what I will do is take this one off and just do, if I could take it off. Fingers don't want to work this morning. Okay, let's get in there. Okay, let's take that one off there. I don't like that. I don't like it moving. I'm going to get in there with a 4mm for now. Let's get all these crimp beads out of the way too. My cat found a chicken bone. He's growling at the other one. Make sure I've got the right section here. No, Iris. She thought she needed to intervene. Okay, so I'm putting a small jump ring in here, right in between these two sets of beads. That will keep it from moving around. Now, I just need to figure out how I want to hang it so that it doesn't. I'm going to add another one, 2 more, make it like a chain. I think that'll work. I'll add 2 more, make it like a little chain. Or I could have just used a piece of chain, I guess. Clip that one. Only I can take the simplest project and make it so much work. Probably should have hooked it on when I had it open. There we go. I got it. I'm gonna put this one right on while I'm at it. There we go. So yeah, and the end result here is you could also have just used a little piece of chain. Could have just strung on a little piece of chain here, which is what I should have done, but I've already closed my ends off, so I'm not going to be able to do that now. But I would just take like 3 links of chain and do the same thing. But now I still have to go around a big one here, because I gotta have something that goes around my wreath. And I totally distorted the other one, so that one can go in the trash now. There. Problem solved. That's much better. Yeah, I like that. These jump rings don't close tightly. They don't line up correctly, and I don't really want to sit here and trim every single one of them. Okay. And there it is. All right, so I'm going to set that aside now. We'll work on a pair of earrings. I think I might want to add one of these little pine cones to the end of my dangle chain as well, so I might dig out another one of those. And these are really simple. I just need an eye pin. And I know I had one out, but you know, things tend to disappear. Oh, those ball head pins, I don't want that one. Oh, I'd be so glad when my fingernails grow back out. Hard to grip stuff. I think I'm just going to keep it really simple. Let's actually attach the pine cone first. Okay. Now, do I want to do kind of like that. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to bend it over the bicone here. Try to leave just enough space so you're not chipping your bicone when you roll your loop. I do need this loop to be a little bit bigger because it has to go around that wreath. So I'm going to cut it closer to a 1/3 of an inch than a 1/4. I'm going to use my far end down on my roller of my round nose here to make a bigger loop, and just bring that in so I have a nice big loop. Okay, and just swing that open and hook onto my little wreath here. I don't think I opened it enough. No, I didn't. Close that back up. So that's very simple and cute just the same. Okay, so we'll just do the second one. These are a quick, easy pair of earrings. You could do the same thing with the little hollyberry cluster things that we received in the box if you don't have the little pine cones. I wanted to go with the pine cones because the pendant piece is a pine tree. This one here. So I thought I would, do a pine cone. I had them. I've had them for quite a while, so I think it came in a past box many years ago. Alright, there's the second one. We'll give that a bend. Again, trim it a little further up. Go down deep on my roll, on my round nose pliers. And bring that in. Again, feed on my wreath. Now at this point it's up to you if you wanted to hang them from a ear wire or a stud. I think I'm going to go with a stud because these hang pretty long already. So I have these ball studs with a little hanger on them. I think I got these in a big package from Amazon. And I'm just going to take 2 little jump rings here. And honestly, this is not directional on these earrings at all because the wreath is 2-sided and the pine cone is 3D, so it doesn't really even matter which direction you put it on. Close that up, and here we go. A really pretty little earring. Alright, so let's do the second one. We'll get these done and then we'll get to work on that bracelet and see if we can create it. If not, then I'll have wasted my time. I think I can do it though. I know in my head what I want to do. Sometimes the translation doesn't come out the same. All right, the earrings are finished. I do have rubber stoppers for the backs of those. They're just in a little package somewhere. So again, we'll set that aside. Okay, now this is the part that's going to be a little bit tricky. Just trying to get a piece of wire that's untangled here. So untangled. I don't know how I got tangled around it. Cats probably. Alright, so I got that. Alright, this is, as I said, 24 gauge. If this doesn't work, I do have a 26 gauge. So I think that the 24 gauge would be the better choice. So I'm going to cut this bad end off where it was all tangled. Try to keep my wires straight as possible. Try not to kink it up too much. I'm not cutting it off the spool. So my first thing I want to do is I'm just going to hold my bar like this. I'm going to hold my wire so it's sticking out a little bit and try to grab that last section of link there. And in the groove of the second and third one, I'm going to wrap twice. Just like that. Okay? Now I'm going to bring it back around, straight out. Like that. And from this point, I'm going, and it's going to be really hard under the camera, so please bear with me. From this point, actually I'm going to raise the camera up just a little bit and then zoom in. Sorry about that. I really need the room to work. So I'm going to take my round nose. I am going to put it in on this piece of wire just like this. I'm going to bring that around. Like this. Rotate and complete that round. Try to get it to focus so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. So this is what I have so far. Let me get that tail out of the way. So this is what I've got so far. Now I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to wrap it around that just like I would if I was doing a wire wrapped loop. So I'm going to hold my loop like this. I'm going to take this wire up and over, up and over twice. Come on, focus. Okay? Now I'm going to take the wire and continue on wrapping. I'm going to wrap once. I'm going to extend it down, wrap again, and come back out under the other loop. Okay? And then I'm going to make another one of these little loops. I think this was going to work. It will be time consuming, and then you do have two of them. So again, I'm going to put my plier in there, bring my wire around it, just like that. Take my plier out for a minute to rotate because I don't want to tangle it in the wire. So I've rotated, and I'm going to continue again. Whoop. Maybe I should cut the wire because it's really starting to get springy. Alright, I'm going to cut it off. Might be a little bit easier this way. I'm going to get some of the stuff out of the way. I don't want my camera constantly zooming in on that. Okay, so now we are at that same point again as that. I'm going to take my pliers again. hold that just like that. Only this time I've got to avoid that loop. But I'm going to wrap 1 and 2 just like I did on that one. Okay? If I wasn't doing this under the camera, I could do a much neater job, but I think it'll give you the idea of what I'm doing. Okay? Now I'm going to take this piece again, my tail, and I'm going to try to get that lined up right there. See how it's lined up under the top loop as much as I can. And I'm going to 1, 2, and the wraps aren't beautiful, especially, you know, like I said, trying to do it under the camera, but that's okay. It's going to look fine. And you can, you know, take your time with it, tweak it a little bit, do what you need to do to make it all look pretty. And now I'm going to finish it off with one more loop. Okay, so up, over, rotate, make my little loop, pull it into place, hang on to it, and once again, and I have incoming. Nope. Nope. So I've got my 3 loops on there now. I'm going to take the tail end here, and just like where I started, I'm going to go in here and just wrap twice just to finish it off. And once I get to the back of it, I'm going to trim it off nice and snug and give it a pinch. Make sure I'm trimming the right wire, not one of my wraps. Trim this one over here off as well. My pliers, my cutters are getting bad. And I'm so afraid I'm going to cut the second wire, the other loop. Okay, now from this point, you can use a pair of flat jawed pliers, or if you have nylon jawed pliers, which I don't seem to be able to find for some reason. Where did those disappear to? Well, okay, I will just do the best I can with these. And basically all I'm going to do now is just kind of tweak my loops, get them, you know, in alignment, make everything nice and smooth. And again, I do want to kind of push down on them, which I wish I had my nylon jaws for. I just want to get everything flat. Make sure everything's in line. Make sure my little cut ends, I can feel it so I know it's poking somewhere here. Make sure it's pushed in so that you don't feel it anymore. You don't want it scratching anybody's wrist. Okay. So this is a way to use your toggle bar. The wrapping is messy. You don't have to make it messy. You can make them all nice and tight. It's going to cover your print, you know, your little lines in your bar, but you can do them like side to side to side so that it just kind of covers the whole bar in these nice tight spiraled rings, and then you just have your loops hanging from the bottom of it. And honestly, it probably would look better, but I was trying to save some of the actual detail so it kind of matched the wreath, but that's okay. Okay, so this is the one I did off camera, and you can tell I was able to take my time a little bit more with it than the one I just did with you guys. My loops are a little rounder, my lines are a little straighter and cleaner, but I wasn't doing it under the camera, and I could take my time a little bit more with it. I could pull my wire a little bit tighter than I did here. So when you do yours, if you decide to do this method, just take your time with it. And you know, now that you know the basic idea for it. So now we've turned it into a 3 to 1 reducer or connector. So now it's just a matter of designing a bracelet to go in it. And I know I want my middle section to look basically like my necklace does. Something like probably 4 of these. Oops, got the whole strand. Something along this line. Four might be too many. I'm not really sure yet. Could very well be because it is only a bracelet after all. And I do want to put in the whites just like I had in the necklace, so we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. If I can get it out of there. Instead of putting my arm across the screen, I should just move my dish. Yeah, I think 3 is probably going to be all I can fit in that once it starts expanding with these in it. Let's take that one away. Alright, so there is essentially what the center strand will look like. So now to figure out what I want to do with the rest of it. I like to keep it small. Maybe bring in some of the silver beads. Let's see. Do I like that all the way up like that? Kind of think I do. And if I have enough, I can do that on both sides. And I think that'd be really, really pretty. So I think that's what my pattern will be. I'll just do the same thing on this side. Yeah, I think that's really pretty. I like that. So that's what I will do. Although I think the green in here is going to disappear if I have green on both sides. Will it? I don't know. Let's string it up and see what we get. Alright, so once again I need my beading wire. I'm just going to pull off a whole piece and just cut the sides I need out of it as I go. Alright. So I do know I want to start here with that, so I am going to go right ahead and put my crimp bead on the end of it, my clamshell. If I add on anything, it'll be at that end. Okay, so there's one. And 2. See, that one twisted just like the other one did. That one is no good. This is why I do 2 with it. That's better. All right. Okay, so let's string this on. I'm going to start with this little center section. Oh my goodness. One, two, three, and four. Do my pattern thing here, my little green, red, green. And then again 4 of these. And then I'm going to go off screen and just finish stringing this up to save some time. It's the same thing, just 4 of the white, a green, a red, a green, 4 of the white, a green, a red, a green, and I'll be right back. Okay, so after stringing that, I realized it was a little short, and I ended up adding 5 sections of the red berries. I have a bigger wrist. My wrist is between the 7 and 7.5 inch. So if yours is smaller, you'd probably want to go ahead and leave 1 section off. If yours is somewhere in between, maybe just do 2 here and 2 here to begin and end with, rather than the 4. So there's plenty of areas where you can adjust to make it your size. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to add another clamshell. If I can figure out where I left them in this mess. And again, like I said, just let gravity pull everything down for you. Don't pull it tight. Don't leave gaps, but don't pull it tight. Let your crimp bead float down there too. Get in there and give it a good pinch. That would close nicely. Try to pick up the second one here, but doesn't seem to want to. There we go. And again, just get in there and close that one nice and tight. And trim that down. And close that off. Okay, so there is the center strand. Alright, there's my center strand. These are going to connect with a little jump ring right to that center loop. I'm going to go ahead and string up just a very simple green, silver, green, silver until I have the same length, and I will return. Okay, so I changed my mind. I was running really low on the green. I literally have 2 left of the little opalescent crystal beads here. So I did the green strand as my center and then redid this one for the outside of it, which I think looks just as pretty. I like it a lot. So now it's as simple as just getting out a few 4mm jump rings. My beading wire is not the best because I have cats and they like to untangle stuff and make a mess of it, so you can see it's kind of kinky. Hopefully yours is nice and straight and will lay really well. Mine I'll probably have to end up heating a little bit just to get that wire to straighten for me a little. I don't know what I want to do with it, so but hopefully wearing it will straighten it back out. I do, however, need to trim some of my little 4mm here because there, that one just totally went flying off. Because again, like I always have to do, my jump rings just aren't that good. But I refuse to throw them away until I've used them up. And so I'm just going to put on one little strand here. 2. This one doesn't flap too bad, I think. And we'll do this. Do this green and silver strand. If I can get it to stay on my jump ring. So there's 2 strands on so far. And oh, that one doesn't even have the hole punched through. There we go. There is going to be a front side and a back side to your little toggle bar that you made. Putting these together, it isn't going to matter too much. Well, it is, because you don't want one up and one down. But your little loops that you created, see, this is the back side. It's also where I cut the wire and folded it under. So that would be the inside. And there's like a, visually you can see that the ridge of the bar is above the loops, whereas on this side it looks like the loops are above the bar. So that would be your back. Okay? So when you go to put the other one on, you want to make sure that you're also conscious of the fact that, if I can get it in the camera here, where am I? Oh, that's a big truck going by. See, these ones are on the risen side, whereas these ones are on the lower side. Try to set it sideways so that you can see what I'm talking about. You see that? See the loops around the bottom? That's where you want them to be. You want this side to be your top, and this side where they're flush to be your bottom. I hope that makes sense. And we're just going to, well, that one's not popped through either. What is up with these things? Okay. Just hang this one so that it's in this side. And the rest of them will automatically now go in line, and you don't have to worry about trying to make sure you got the right side up and right side down now. So that's one. And 2. And 3. Okay, there is our bracelet all connected. Looks really pretty. Whoop. Here's our bar connected to it. Hopefully you can see it. Alright, I'm going to zoom back out now and lower you back down. Try to. Oh, my stick is no good anymore. It's starting to. It is starting to slip. Okay. So at this point, if you wanted to add extender chain to one side, and then you clasp to the other side, you could. That way, you know, you've got the option of it being a little bit bigger for somebody else, or you can make it, you know, this size and then add extender chain so that it fits multiple sizes. I'm not going to because 7.5 is on the bigger side already. So I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to add my jump ring. And I do want one of the bigger ones on one side. Actually, I think I want to connect that with a small jump ring so that it is laying flat in the same plane here. Get that closed back up tight. Alright, so I'm just going to go in on the top loop here and grab that jump ring. Close that up tight. Alright, and then I will take two small ones so that my lobster clasp also hangs in the correct plane. And for now, I'm just going to clip this one to it, so I have to stop for a minute and dig out some lobster clasps. Alright, and I will return. Okay. I'm just going to get out one for the necklace and one for the bracelet. Oh, it's not very silvery. Alright, now we'll just take this and open that one up. Jinx, be good to her. Be so mean. Doctor up that junk ring a little bit. Okay, now where did I put the necklace? While I was working on stuff. Here we go. I'm going to take another little jump ring. And I'm not going to dig out another pine cone, so I think I'm just going to add this little holly cluster here to the end of my extender chain. Make sure it's hanging in the right direction. Make sure my necklace is, no, my necklace is upside down. So, okay. And that finishes off the necklace and the bracelet. Now all we need is some little ear backs for the earrings. And there we go. There is the whole completed set. Just like that. Thank you for joining me, everybody. I do appreciate it. I am going to get this bracelet clasped here for you, and then I'll put everything on the form and let you see it and call it a day. I have kept you guys long enough. Alright, so there we have it. Alright, I'll be right back, guys. Okay, so here it is. I'm sorry for the lighting. It has been overcast here for, I swear, 2 weeks. Feels like the sun is never going to shine again. So here it is. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for joining me. Do appreciate it. And until next time, guys, have a wonderful day. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so I wish you all a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.